Alright. It's been a while since I showcased a Sonic fan game, so I thought I'd just do that, as well as showcasing the indie game in development because of what the Sonic fan game was able to establish with its engine and the physics and overall just whatever the bumper engine was able to bring out for this one indie developer. So before anything, I gotta say this, I won't have the same lack of energy I did with the Sonic Omens video, and I still beat myself up to this day and use that video as a how to not showcase / review something to this day. I was tired when recording at 3 in the morning, as well as trying to not be very loud in a thin layered apartment. It wasn't my best. Plus the gameplay audio I wanted to have also be in the background of me talking wasn't really well synced, in a sense that it was really low, so some of the parts of the video were just transitions, but the audio was just so low that it's like, was this an error? It just didn't look right to me. So this time I'm sure to get it right. Now with that out of the way, Sonic GT, the 90% of what the video is all about, is a fan game by Gabriel Gonzalez, aka Not So Greedy. Make sure to check out his YouTube channel when you can, preferably after watching this video all the way through. Hopefully, thank you, and enjoy the video. So the main menu is pretty simple. It has hilltops above the clouds, tails flying around in the title screen. With the addition of the video files playing on the mountainside, it gives that Mario Kart on a projector on the side of a wall vibes. I won't linger here since there's not too much to talk about, but I do like the fact that on the reflections tab, it has a setting called Y for its graphical quality. But hey, gotta flex that PC flashy colors, you know? Continuing on with the only available mode we get from the get-go is the character select menu, with Sonic being the only one here, but since there's a character select, obviously that entails for you to be able to play and unlock more characters, but the addition of having his stats being on the side is a pretty unique thing that not a lot of games typically do, except for Sonic Heroes, but that's more of a low spec version of it compared to this one. But yes, overall, you can play other characters and not just Sonic, but I'll cover on that as I go throughout the video and later on.
Alright, let's jam!
The fan game that starts off with the tutorial mode just screams it's going to be engaging, and not as these current official Sonic games that have that tiresome boost to win type of gameplay. Ironically, the first thing I did in the tutorial was get sidetracked by the fact that Sonic's eyes look directly at you when having the camera face toward him, as well as his mouth changing size depending on the direction he's in. And before tweaking my camera settings, which you should be doing if you are using a controller, I highly recommend doing that, I yet again noticed and got sidetracked with the photo mode in game. It didn't have that flashy, fancy stuff that most modern games do, but either way, it's not like any of the Sonic games in the past have featured it, so I'd say it's pretty good and awesome as a feature to add in. And because Forces didn't have it, we're already on a good start. Moving onward through the tutorial, you'll have hints explaining what does what. Outside of the usual run and jump, there's a homing attack, a momentum attack, which acts as the homing attack, but if you hold on to the button, it keeps that momentum, obviously, go figure. It's a really good addition that not even official games have touched upon yet. The drop dash makes its return from Mania, but in reality, that's assigned as a special move to Sonic specifically, which characters will have their own unique moves. Bounce and Stomp are here. Those are self-explanatory, light dashing, and a new feature that I haven't seen except for a few 2D fan games, Tricks, which acts as a double jump instead of the soulless one gift textured ball we usually see. A few grinding rails, though momentum is a big factor of its use. Still glad to see the Shadow the Hedgehog, the grind speed up, make a return where he just shimmies and jumps left and right. I've always missed that. I actually liked it. It made the game really feel fast when you knew how to make use of it. Wall jumping, something that can get weird at times, but still useful. Oh, and before I forget, something you might honestly not make use of, but it is there, which is braking. I never used it, and frankly, it's probably because of the fact that I'm more used to, if I'm going too fast in a Sonic game, I'll just jump and homing attack to maintain my balance. What I wasn't expecting though was a ranking system. And I gotta say that it felt good getting in S rank and knowing that levels weren't just 30 to 50 second levels. And since the game calculates your time, rings, and combos into a final score that adds up to the actual replayability and without boost, I'd say that's pretty cool. And speaking of combos, you'll see stars as you do almost anything stylish, momentum based, and or defeating enemies. In the Saints Row respect points kind of way, it kind of works in the sense of if you continue to do something like going fast, if you hit multiple badniks in a row, the higher your combo will go. With the tutorial done, we're presented the game's actual story, and in a Sonic Heroes fashion, Mighty gets a hologram message from Eggman taunting him about taking Ray and keeping him captive and him not being able to do anything, yada yada yada. And we get a shot of Sonic and Tails' side of things before they somehow hear Mighty from one side of the island to the next. Not sure how that works, but the plot must go on, and that's the game's overall premise. So yeah, just we gotta save Ray. So running over to save Mighty earns us a choice to play as him, and the way we earn it is pretty reminiscent to Sonic Adventure's way of handling that transaction. We continue the rest of the level, which is a cool in its own way hybrid of Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace Zone. Waterfalls, palm trees, massive constructed loops, and an ancient landscape vibe to it. The greens of the grass and that light brown orange vibe with the sunset off in the distance along the coast of the sandy beaches. This being the first level puts all you learn in the tutorial into play here, even a little too well at times. The enemies you see here, for the most part, are what you'll see throughout the whole entire fan game. Crab meats, egg bots with overly well shooting accuracy, the flying drones with spinning blades from Sonic Adventure 2 you'll see in later levels, and the very menacing piranha and motobugs that chase you with the maximum intent to hunt you down. The motobugs chasing you were scary enough, but seeing the piranhas jump out of the water with and at you made me forget that's what they've done ever since the first game. In 3D, it definitely feels more terrifying, but death evading out of the way, the first level was pretty enjoyable to play through. Cutscene here, cutscene there, and you know what? I'll bring up a small gripe about it. The voice acting is okay, and the execution as well. It's just the still images kind of kill the vibe for me. Not in a game performance, but in a anticlimactic feel. But at least the self-awareness, fourth wall breaking, and characterizations stay in place for the most part. The next zone we end up going to is Hilltop Zone, and I felt the urge to run backwards, you know, just to test some things out. The level does good recreating a two-dimensional level into the third dimension, and considering it's a level that I've never seen get as much love in official games, it's...
Yeah, so apparently in Sonic Simulator they added Hilltop Zone, but I'm not going to necessarily consider that an official game considering it's on Roblox, but who knows? Maybe we might see it in Frontiers.
Good to see here. Sadly, most of the level has its outside perspective and no underground lava buildup as we see in Sonic 2. But seeing those mechanical Dinobots in full 3D and huge as hell wasn't necessarily how I was thinking they would look when it comes down to it, since in the 2D games you can just bonk them on the head and then that's it. The overall level design for this zone felt really freeing, and not gonna lie, it made me think about how this game would feel if they did include the boost, considering all the ramp setups and the very little slopes that go upwards that you can gain amazing height from. It just makes me wonder how it would feel, but knowing that this game was able to feel this good to play without having boost in it and relying on it definitely sticks out compared to other fan games that try to implement boost. Eventually you'll come across the last jump that leads to some mining tracks and enter a boss segment with a miner.
Why don't you have a seat?
Robot. A miner robot. Well, outside of that, the fight's simple and a good chase the boss and time the homing attack kind of way. I enjoyed it, even though my first time felt kind of janky, but then again, I had speed in mind, and in this fight required a balance between the two, since you can technically outrun the boss. Just be easy on the rails and went on land, go fast, and dodge TNTs while timing attacks for the win. The next scene we get is the Eggman's usual "how dare you get in the way of my plans" talk, while Tails interjects about the mountains rumbling, and all of a sudden Hilltop Zone goes up in flames. It actually caught me off guard. I know Hilltop Zone has lava, but I guess I just never registered that the landmark was technically a volcano, or volcanoes, or maybe SEGA just never features this level, unlike a certain particular green zone with hills. So the way we came is the way we escape. I like that. Having a reverse way of doing a level and having that work while amplifying the atmosphere with the red, dark, fiery, and smoky surroundings. And with an off-screen rescue from Tails, we head to the next zone to meet up with Tails' informant, to Sonic's irritation, for a reason that'll be explained later.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go.
Here we are presented with the nighttime city area that reminds me of Sonic Battle's nightclub area and literally any casino themed zone in the series. Mighty's expression of how he loves the area, showing some love to Knuckles and the Chaotix, was definitely wholesome. But I also gotta say, I don't know if someone really has it out for Shadow, but they really made Sonic act way out of character towards him, to the point we get something like this.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I didn't say anything before we got on the plane.
Is it bad if I say I kind of liked him best when he was sacrificing himself for the sake of the planet?
That's terrible. Don't joke about that.
No, I'm not joking.
Dude, that's cold even for you.
I just hope Ray's holding up all right. As infantile as ever, I see. As infantile as ever, I see.
Yeah, no idea what was up with this. Even to the point he snaps at Mighty, who he chose to help out because it's the right thing to do. I just don't know. It wasn't the best dialogue choices I would have took, but at least Mighty's response kept his character true to what he is. After the odd dialogue choices, we're free to run along the literal highway of Sunset Boulevard, which I'd say is a mixture of speed highway and the previous areas of casinos I mentioned before. Running and jumping galore and everything momentum based happens here. Just going from path to path, rooftop to rooftop, hearing the same siren cars from Sonic Adventure as reskinned motobugs, I'd assume. Rails, all the flashing lights. What more can I say? This was a visually and stylish level to breeze through, but at the end of it, yet again, another boss fight. And for the most part, I just jumped around, confused, not knowing the indicators for attacking, but somehow managed to make short work of the boss. So in the end, I got my S rank just fine. Don't know how I did it, but yeah, at least I enjoyed the level. That zone out of mind, Shadow now a playable character in time attack and challenge mode. Tails managed to locate Eggman's location after defeating the previous boss, and we head to the pyramid base, and with a self-aware joke included as to reference Sonic Adventure 2's hidden base and pyramid cave levels. But since the game has the zone's name as hidden base, I guess it was a given, and the combination of the two Sonic Adventure 2 zones is what this level succeeds to be, but without the mech section and all the speed and minus the puzzles. So that was definitely a plus right there. The night setting kicks in that feeling of sneaking into a top secret base, and considering this is a rescue mission after all, I'd say it fits. It also goes to show that in the span of an afternoon and an evening, Sonic and friends managed to get a lot done when focused on a solid goal in mind, because going from afternoon to evening to night on a level by level basis is a fine detail to praise, especially for a fan game, as well as basically remaking the Sonic Adventure 2 Egypt levels together as one giant base, while using a mixture of the ins and outs that came included with it. The speed of the caves underpass that'll have you zooming through the air and through the night sky setting is great, but I do wish there were more spotlights to add in. Not only like a surveillance detail, but to also brighten up some of the darker areas in the level. But I'll leave that as my own personal nitpick. The rest of the level ultimately leads to a giant pyramid guarded by lasers, mines, enemies to avoid, so getting through this whole entire level was a short but satisfying trek. And I guess you could say it was like a blast from the past, not to be so cheesy. So finally, after a long afternoon and evening, we make it to Eggman just to find out that Eggman technically already had what he needed for his newest invention. But just no proper test subjects, and we immediately enter the last boss fight in the game. Gotta say though, this wasn't it, fam. I could care less about the design of the final boss being just a little mech tank APC looking thing, but just being in this small arena with little to no space wasn't what I exactly had in mind. If anything, I trade the Miner Bot's boss fight to this one. Eggman just mindlessly shooting bullets and missiles. You can't get close to him because of his shield, and the only time his shield goes away was when he'd shoot his egg laser, which would either happen really often or very, very rarely. I don't know why every attack he does basically has 99.9 accuracy, but considering the most you'll do in this fight is run in a circle until the laser gets fired while hoping you can dodge it and manage to hit the weak spot, as with each hit makes the center platform pieces start to fall, making the battle more annoying than a challenge, could have definitely been way better if handled differently. But eventually, with many trial and errors, he's defeated as usual, with Ray being reunited with Mighty and Sonic getting his quips in with Eggman as usual, and for some reason they decide to add in some Kingdom Hearts friendship quotes for some reason. I won't bash it much because I think it was intentional, since Forces most definitely tried that, but the scene ends with everyone giving chase to an escaping Eggman and then credits. So that was basically Sonic GT, a fan game that on first playthrough seems long, but once you get a hold of all the gameplay styles and mechanics, is a real fast, speedy trail of fun. And after the game's story, there's more fun to unlock after. More playable characters, a radar used for collecting hidden collectibles that'll unlock more characters, and some new challenges, time attacks, and apparently and people have definitely been speedrunning this game, and some of the videos for it are just wow. I would never really think of using these methods just to get a top score into a level. But overall, I enjoyed this fan game. It was pretty good. And with Sonic GT out of the way, it's time to talk about what came after it because of it. So Project Rascal, an original project built from what was made from Sonic GT. Same dev, new IP. And this really shows something that can really be likable about the Sonic fan base. It just feels good seeing fans of a series make their own kind of game and flesh out what they wanted in the games that inspired them, but into something they can call their own. It's just something really wholesome about that and really motivating to see. Starting the demo of Project Rascal, which is still available for download, just like Sonic GT, we begin with the tutorial, and this time, instead of just text explaining moves, we get many monitors showcasing how things are done. I think the character design is pretty fine. The moveset that you have is basically Sonic's from Sonic GT's, with the addition of being able to ride certain enemies. And notice when entering water, you just float up, so probably no underwater levels or no underwater exploration included. After getting caught up with controls, we're off to the beach area. The level throughout is bright, colorful, and the design of it kind of reminds me of some of those PlayStation Dreams fan games, but without the fuzzy pastel painting feeling to it. The new assets the game has to keep the game fast and fresh was neat. The spinning assets to keep you on track, but also showing more than one route to take. The ropes that work akin to Sonic Adventure's first level. Overall, this one level still maintains that wide vastness that GT had. I think it does good on that part. Seeing something new was great nonetheless, and the minor details here and there, like leaving a trail on grass when you walk through it, the sheer curiosity of going inside of a building through the rooftops little boarding was unexpected but appreciated and added more to the name Rascal and to the project. The demo is fun to play, and I'd more than recommend this as well as Sonic GT if you haven't at this point played it, or if you're able to get a hold of a PC or a laptop that's good enough for it. I would definitely say to take a moment of your time to play the game. It's really enjoyable. But all in all, everything said and done, I hope to see great things from this game and what the devs do continuing on forward. Remember to check them out, whether it be Gamejolt, Twitter, YouTube, and maybe even for Sage 2022. They just might have something of an update in store for what's to come. And hopefully another demo as well. Both these games deserve to be played. I do wish Sonic GT had more levels or more to it, or just more levels, but since it used the bumper engine, and from what one Gamejolt page Not So Greedy has, it seems like this has GT physics for Unity if anyone wants to take a shot at making some awesome levels and do whatever with it. But till next time, as I always say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Where you may reside, hopefully you are doing good. Your friends, families, and close ones in your life alike. Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope to see you in the next time. And be easy, my friends. Peace out.